From the outside, she was everything a family could hope for. Teachers praised her for her intelligence, neighbors admired her polite manners, and her parents trusted her without hesitation. To them, she was the perfect daughter, someone who would never step outside the boundaries of tradition, someone who would never stain the family's reputation. But appearances are fragile, and the truth beneath her carefully built image was nothing short of explosive. Her name was Raina. To her parents, she was the pride of the household; to the community, she was an example of discipline and grace. Yet, behind the closed doors of her own mind, she carried a secret that could shatter everything in a single instant. It began innocently enough, or so she told herself. Her cousin Arjun had always been close to her ever since childhood. They had shared a bond that others often envied. He was protective, gentle in his words, and had a way of making her feel understood. With him, she never had to explain herself; he seemed to know her heart before she spoke a word. For years, their closeness was dismissed as the natural warmth between cousins. But one summer evening, as they sat together on the terrace under a blanket of stars, something unspoken passed between them. It was subtle, but it was enough to cross an invisible line. Raina knew it was wrong. She knew it was dangerous. But temptation has a way of silencing reason. What began as stolen glances soon turned into secret meetings, whispered conversations, and promises they both knew could never be spoken aloud. Arjun believed he was the only one. He believed their secret belonged to them alone. But Raina's heart, or perhaps her restless mind, had other ideas. There was also Karen, another cousin, entirely different in personality. Where Arjun was soft-spoken and thoughtful, Karen was fiery, unpredictable, and bold. He didn't charm her with gentle words. He drew her in with his intensity, with the way he challenged rules, with the reckless energy that made her feel alive in ways she never had before. If Arjun offered comfort, Karen offered danger. And Raina, caught in the storm of her own hidden desires, could not resist either. It was not love, at least, not the kind of love that builds lives and sustains marriages. It was something far more complicated, a mixture of thrill, secrecy, and a hunger for attention she could never admit. Perhaps, deep inside, Raina wanted to test how far she could push the boundaries without being caught. Perhaps she wanted to know how much control she really had over her carefully crafted image. Whatever the reason, she walked into a dangerous triangle, one that had no safe exit. At first, balancing the two relationships was easier than she expected. Arjun and Karen were not close, they rarely confided in each other, and their differences kept them apart. Raina used this distance to her advantage, creating separate worlds where she played different roles. With Arjun, she was the soft, vulnerable girl who sought comfort. With Karen, she was daring, rebellious, and free. Each believed they knew the real Raina. Each believed they had her heart. And she let them believe it. But secrets have weight. The more she tried to carry them, the heavier they became. Every family gathering became a performance. A casual question, an unexpected glance, even a shared laugh between Arjun and Karen could send her heart racing. What if one of them slipped? What if one of them noticed something unusual? What if both discovered the truth at once? Raina often told herself that she was in control, that she could handle the lies. Yet, late at night, when silence surrounded her and guilt pressed heavily on her chest, she wondered if she was building a cage of her own making. There were moments when she almost confessed to Arjun, moments when she nearly admitted that he was not the only one. But fear always stopped her. Fear of his anger. Fear of Karen's fury. Fear of her family's wrath if the truth ever came to light. The secret was poison, but the exposure of it would be a death sentence. Still, she could not stop. It was as if she was addicted to the danger. The more she risked, the harder it became to step back. She told herself she could end it any time she wanted, but deep down, she knew she was already trapped. The irony was cruel. The daughter who looked so flawless on the surface was slowly destroying herself beneath. She smiled at relatives, helped her mother in the kitchen, listened to her father's advice, and laughed with friends, while inside, her mind was consumed by the chaos she had created. The two cousins, blind to the truth, continued to believe in their own separate illusions. But the walls of Raina's double life were growing thinner. Every secret eventually demands a price, and hers was a debt waiting to be collected. And then came the day that would change everything. It was not a dramatic confrontation or a shouted accusation. It was something far more subtle, almost ordinary. A misplaced word, a look that lingered too long, a sentence overheard by the wrong ears. That was all it took for the first crack to appear in her carefully guarded secret. Raina felt the ground shift beneath her. For the first time, she realized that she could lose everything in an instant. The perfect daughter. The adored cousin. The respected young woman of the family. All of it could collapse like a house of cards. But even then, even as fear clawed at her, she wondered, could she still keep the truth hidden? Or was the storm already on its way, unstoppable and merciless? One thing was certain, her double life would not remain a secret forever.